For many individuals, access to a full grocery store is something we take for granted. On our way home, most of us can stop and pick up fresh meat, vegetables, canned goods, and many other healthy options for a balanced meal at a reasonable price. One can also use food stamps and EBT cards at these establishments to purchase groceries for their family. But have you ever driven through a town where it seems like you blink and you miss it? Nothing for miles on every side of it? Or have you driven through a low-income area with boarded up windows, cracked sidewalks, and corner stores? These regions are considered food deserts. According to the American Nutrition Association, a food desert is defined as a region that lacks fresh fruit, vegetables, and other whole, healthy food options, and they are usually found in impoverished and rural areas. This is due to lack of grocery stores and healthy food providers. This deficit leads to an increase in convenience stores and corner markets that primarily offer processed and artificial foods. So, how does geographic location and community development contribute to the formation and development of a food desert? To begin to answer this question, the first thing that needs to be investigated is how geographic location and the community within that location has contributed to its development into a food desert. According to a study done by the Department of Sociology at the University of Central Florida, food deserts seem to occur for one main reason, and that is profit maximizing capitalism. The mom and pop stores that you would have typically seen in urban and areas and even rural areas are gone due to the enticing nature of a large supermarket chain. These chains offer extended hours, larger selections, and cheaper prices than the smaller, locally owned stores. The locally owned stores cannot compete with it, forcing them to shut their doors. Larger supermarkets are only accessible to those with a car or access to public transportation. So this forces those without access to transportation to shop at convenient and corner stores, which do not offer healthy or cost-effective options. In rural areas, there is not enough people to support a full grocery store, so it is not cost-effective for an owner to open one, and the owner will lose money trying to open and operate the store. Another theory is that food deserts develop in the inner city and urban areas because more affluent people moved to the suburbs in the 50s and 60s, taking the business with them. Since companies cannot survive without a profit, they moved with the money out of the inner cities and left these low-income individuals stranded with no healthy options. When we think of large supermarket chains, the first thing that comes to mind is Walmart. Walmart is the largest superstore chain in the United States, and it is an example of a non-traditional food retailer. Other examples of a non-traditional food retailer would be Target, Costco, and Sam's Club. Walmarts typically situate themselves in suburban areas and areas of high traffic. These stores know that they will be able to generate revenue if it follows that specific formula. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Walmart and other superstore chains can offer food up to 5 to 27% less than traditional supermarkets. They are out of reach for people in food deserts and only make the problem worse by closing the smaller stores with every store that they open. The majority of food deserts are concentrated in the central and western United States. This is the area of the U.S. that with the least amount of population density and cities with the fewest amount of people. According to the Rural Sociological Society, Map 1 shows the number of counties with low access to supermarkets. Low access is when more than half of the population does not have access to a supermarket within 10 miles of where they live. You can see that in the central U.S., specifically the Dakotas, Montana, Nebraska, Kansas, and much of the Midwest, has over 50% lacking healthy food access. Map 2 shows the counties that are actually food deserts. It is much less, however, one can still see the majority of them are located in the Midwest. So how does one combat a food desert? Well, there's no real solution to a food desert. Food deserts are food deserts for a reason, because they cannot support a full supermarket with healthy options. The way to fix a food desert would be to open a full supermarket. However, there is little to no interest to do this because there is minimal profit margin for the owner. The government could offer a government subsidy to entice business owners to open a supermarket in the area so the profit margin is higher. Another solution would be government-mandated supermarkets in which the government only supplies healthy options in the store. This would promote healthy eating habits, and it would be a place to access fresh fruits and veggies as well as fresh meat in impoverished areas. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, there are a few programs that do just this. One program is called the Pennsylvania Fresh Food Financing Initiative. This program provides grants up to $250,000 and loans up to $2.5 million per store when the infrastructure cost or credit that is needed to develop a new store in an underserved market. This is a public-private partnership with the state of Pennsylvania and the stores. If we could get these programs in all 50 states, we could bring healthy, fresh food options to thousands of Americans who do not have this luxury.